Hi, my name is Michaela. Welcome to my little YouTube channel, kind of like a hot mess of a YouTube channel. Oh yeah? You know, like uploading every couple months, even though I say I'm gonna upload regularly. Well, anyways, this, if you have not watched any of my videos, I know in a couple of videos, I'm focusing. Is that working? Is it doing nothing? Okay. In a couple of my videos, I've mentioned my son's health problems, and that's recently why I haven't been uploading, because we've been in the hospital. We've been just dealing with it. His disease has just been acting up. But I really want... Oh, thank you, baby. I really want to upload this video, because maybe it'll help somebody. That's what I really want my videos... Again, this focusing thing, why isn't it? Was it focusing on you? Well, I wanted to, like, maybe if somebody's going through something similar of a situation, this will help them. I want my videos to kind of be fun and helping, if that even makes sense. So, first I'll just talk about my son's health issues. He has, I should just start the story and just say what happened, I think. Well, let's just go that way. Oh, I also have my kitten. So, sorry, I'm just like bringing a cat. But, so my son was a premature. That actually has nothing to do with his health issues, but I just feel like I should put that in. He was born at 35 weeks. It was nothing on him why he was born early. I had preeclampsia, and he was actually in the NICU because he had a very traumatic birth, like a very, very traumatic birth. But we were actually released on the same day, even though he was in the NICU. We spent 5 days in the hospital after he was born, and I was in the hospital just a day before he was born. But anyways, so after the 5 days, we went home. Everything was great. He did spit up quite a few times, but it wasn't anything like horrible. Well, I was a new mom, so what I thought would be horrible. And when he was 2 weeks old, sorry, I was looking at my hands. I'm trying not to like get too emotional about this video, but that's the one reason I have him in here too, because you know, he always makes me happy. So I just him with his loud toys. But he was 2 weeks old, and my husband, he was just my boyfriend at the time, his dad, he worked night shifts, and he just got home from work. I hope you can hear me over that. But and I was doing his like nighttime / morning feed. It was about 5 a.m. and I was like, you know, burping him he was 2 weeks old. I don't know if I said that already, but he was 2 weeks old, and I was just burping him. And I think he's telling his version of the story. But I was just burping him, and all of a sudden, he puked up blood. And it wasn't just like a little bit of blood. I had a flour sack towel, which I used for cloth diapering and burping. But I was burping him, and this whole thing was full of blood. And I like literally like I froze. And I told my husband, I was like, call my mom, call your mom, call somebody, because I didn't know what to do. And both our moms work at the hospital that we'd go to. So we ended up just grabbing him and taking him to the hospital. And at that time, they thought he spent 3 days in the hospital, and they thought he was just allergic to, like, I was breastfeeding him, so they thought he was just allergic to something that I was eating. So I stopped eating anything that was like a common allergy. Like the only thing I was really eating was rice, orange juice, like apple juice, some type of meat, I forgot what it was. And he was still puking up blood. So then they're like, oh, he's probably just allergic to breast milk in general. So then we started him on a formula called, shoot, I can't think of the name of this formula. But but one of these formulas, a very broken down formula, and he was still puking up blood. They're like, okay, he's allergic to this formula too, I guess. He's just gonna be one of those kids that are allergic to blood. I was like, okay. So he was 4 months old at this time. Or no, he was 3 months old, and then they switched him to a formula called Elocare, and that's like the most broken down formula like on the market. And like this is a very special formula. Like you, certain stores you have to go to the pharmacy and get it. And so he was on that. At this time, he was 4. You see your little self. He was 4 months old. And he was still puking, and there was still blood, and a lot of times when he was puking, so his GI doctor was like, oh, focus. His GI doctor was like, okay, you know, I'm just gonna scope him, and it's either gonna be this, or it's gonna be this, or it's gonna be this. Okay. It's either gonna be this, or it's gonna be this. So, oh, mommy needs this. Oh, thank you, baby. And I was like, okay. And I don't even remember what the 2 things were that he said. I was just so worried because I didn't really know what a scope was. I'm a new mom, and also I think I was a fairly young mom. I was 20 at the time. And at this time, he was 4 months old and not even 8 pounds. So during half of the scope, like they said, it's gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour, and so we were out in the waiting room, and we're gonna grab the camera, and after 50 minutes he came out, and his face was like blue, like a bluish white, like in shock, and he walked over to me and my mom, and said, there's something way worse. I even thought we have to go in a separate room so I could tell you what happened. And at this time, I'm shaking. I'm freaking out. I have no idea. And he sat me down. He goes, I took care of about 40,000 babies. No, 4,800 babies in my whole career. And I've never seen this. And that's like the first thing he said. And I'm like, what? Oh, okay. And sorry, he goes, they said he has an esophageal stricture. I have no idea. Can you stop screaming? He goes, he has esophageal stricture, and we think it's caused by chronic acid reflux, baby. 1 sec. Sorry, we had to take a moment's break. Someone was having a tantrum, but well, he goes, he has esophageal stricture, and we think it's caused by acid reflux. And I'm like, what is that? And he goes, his esophagus is almost closed. And he said, if he didn't find it a week later, he would have passed away. So that's where all this started. I actually have a picture of what his esophagus looked like at that second. My son was just playing with it, so I'm like trying to, oh, it's right here. So this is his esophagus at the time. I'm trying to get that glare. Like, if you can see how almost closed it was. That's the only little opening, so that's the only thing like that small would go through his esophagus. So immediately he was hospitalized, and it was a lot of really tough. A lot of tough stuff happened then. I really don't know like how to word all this, but so after he was hospitalized, they did a dilation to open his esophagus. And they told me after his stomach is open for a certain, after his esophagus opens for like at least 3 weeks and his stomach isn't inflamed, they'll do a surgery called a fundification. And that's where they wrap the stomach around the esophagus. And I was like, okay. I'm thinking maybe they had to open up the dilation. Maybe like 2 weeks later we'd have the surgery and everything would be done. And that wasn't the case. Not even close to being the case. He ended up being hospitalized in this time period. I think the time period, it was like 10 times. He had at this time 7 dilations of opening it. And then we ran into another problem, which his stomach was so inflamed from all the acid. So they're like, he can't eat through his stomach anymore. So if I'll try to put a picture in of, but they ended up putting a tube. Well, he did have a feeding tube right after the first surgery with this when they opened it. But they're like, all his feedings, don't do anything by mouth, put everything through the tube. And the tube ain't gonna go through his stomach, it's gonna go straight to his intestines. It's called an NJ tube. And he's like grabbing onto me. And so for about 4 months, he didn't have anything by mouth. He didn't have a bottle. He didn't have any of that. But the last weekend of October, which was a year ago, which is crazy to think about, his stomach wasn't inflamed and his esophagus is open, and they're like, okay, give it a couple more days and we're gonna do this fundoplication. Oh my god, we keep getting out of focus. Hopefully that's not driving people crazy. Oh, that's you, buddy. Can I put you over here? One second. So it was time for the fundoplication surgery. So he went through that surgery. Okay, sorry about that again. Getting past somebody's nap time. But the fundoplication surgery was a success, and they ended up taking out the tube in his nose and putting a tube in his stomach, and he has a Mickey button now, but at first it was like a button, but it had like a tube coming out. So it was just in the stomach, so it wasn't on his nose. And then, so I thought after all this, I thought it would be over. And like, he had this fundoplication, he shouldn't be puking, his esophagus should be open, there should be no problems. And I was wrong again. And that's the one thing right now that we're kind of fighting, because after that surgery, he shouldn't be puking, he shouldn't be doing all this stuff, and he still is. So right now we're trying to find answers. We're trying to do different stuff to figure out what is going on and what is happening. Because it doesn't make sense to any of his doctors or anything. And there's some days where he pukes up to like 8 to 10 times. And it just destroys his esophagus and his stomach. His doctor said he makes 3 times the amount of stomach acid as an adult male. So, I mean, that's where his story is right now. That's where my little guy is at. And I wanted to show you some of our, like, gear, if that makes sense, from the surgeries, that if anybody has similar things like this or gets a G-tube, some stuff that I would recommend getting. I might do a bigger video just on this stuff, but a few like essentials that I would say. If you're watching this and your child already has a G-tube, you probably already know about the cotton things where you cut and you put it around. I don't keep those in my house. I don't use those anymore. And we do an eco-friendly option, a better option, where I had this one time. There was this kid, we were at our local swimming pool because we live on an army base, and I was changing his like diaper and his swimsuit into his regular clothes because we were leaving, and a kid saw his G-tube and it freaked them out. Like, they started crying and they thought they were gonna end up having to have one. So it was like a little 5-year-old. So then I actually found these. You can get them on Etsy. I'll link the person's shop that I go to. My mom's friend actually made this one, but these are, which I'll show you in a second. That'll make more sense. But these, they can put around the G-tube, and it's eco-friendly option, and it's a better option than the cotton. Sometimes the cotton sticks to the G-tube. Come here, baby. And these are the ones that I actually buy from this seller. And I'll link her shop below. Sorry that the little Miss Grumpy Butt over there. Come here, baby. I want to show them your G-tube. But, oh, sorry. And I think she has packs of 3 and the packs of 6. I'm actually like super excited. She started putting out like festive ones, and I love, if you don't know me, or if you can tell, I have like dreadlocks. I'm like a weird type person, and she has Halloween ones, and there's this one that's Halloween and Star Wars, and it was only a 3-pack, because we already have quite a few. I end up getting it, and it's going to be coming in the mail, so I'm like so excited, which maybe I'll do like an unboxing when I receive them to show like what the package looks like and everything. I don't know if anybody would be interested in that, but this is actually my favorite one because it's like the Hulk. This one's just, but oh, and the seller that I buy mine from, she has this deal if you buy 4 different sets of G-tube pads, she'll give you like this for free. Or you can buy this from her for like $4. And then this is just a dry wet bag, like a mini one. I think it's supposed to be for like pads, which that's what I used to use it for, but now I don't. This I got from Amazon. This is where I keep all his clean ones. I put all his clean ones like right in here. So I mean this is like for me a must, like definitely. But and then another thing I got, this is also from Etsy, which I put their shop in a different description before, but that was for an Ouch, like the Ouch Pouch brand. But this is still her brand. But this is where I put this in my diaper bag, and this is like his G-tube kit. It has like a big syringe, and then his little G-tube connector. And so I always have it with me. It's always in one spot. I don't have to look for it. I used to have a little syringe in here, but I actually needed that the other day, and I hadn't fully sterilized it back to put it back in here. And yeah, so let me put this all back in. Sorry, it's just okay. And then something else that it's a G-tube book bag. You get a book bag when you get your machine, but I found out it's really scratchy and it's not really like very kid friendly. This one I can just put it on his back, and his machine's in here. I don't have a bag with me. This is his machine that feeds him when he needs to have. Now he can have some food, but he's been puking it all up. But you put a bag on here, and you could buy some. I had my mom's friend name it, and there's a little hole where the tube will come out. I don't have any bags with me at the time because I didn't really think about it. But I don't have an Etsy shop for this. Just my mom's friend made it. But I would like, if you know your child is gonna have G-tube for a long time and it's not a temporary thing, because these are kind of expensive, I would recommend investing into a bag that fits them. And it is pretty pricey, so that's why I said if it's a long-term thing, like I would. But if you're gonna have it for a couple months, I wouldn't recommend spending. Sorry, my focus is like crazy. Like it's never done this. But if it's just gonna be a couple weeks or even a year, I wouldn't recommend buying, like, the bags are like $60 to like $30 to $60, but most of them are like $60 and up. So yeah, so oh my god, this is such a long video. But thank you for taking the time to watch my kind of like a hot mess of a video. I really thought this might help somebody. Yeah, I am now that his like I don't want to jinx myself, so I probably shouldn't say this, but now that his health problem is more like taken care of and he's more like at home, I will be able to probably upload more, like I hope. I really hope. So if you have any like questions about G-tubes or want me to go into a more in-depth video about just G-tube, not just like a story, like actual like everything for a G-tube, just let me know, put it in the comments below. Or if you want any video that you think cloth diaper, I am going to make an eco-friendly, I keep saying this, but I am going to make it eco-friendly. I'm actually working on like making a list of how to like for the video and stuff. So eco-friendly cloth diaper, G-tube, anything, hospital stays, anything like that, I would say I'm pretty good at. I mean, my son's almost 2 and he's been cloth diapered since birth, so you know, I've done that. My son's had a G-tube for almost our type of tubing, almost his whole life. He's been in hospital stays, and I think he's had 16 hospital stays so far now. I almost forgot to show you his G-tube, so good thing he got a little cranky. Okay, so okay, wanna show me your G-tube, buddy? Say, look, it's my G-tube. And how you like change them. I'll switch it while I'm, you know, already here. I'm just kidding. Well, kinda. I am gonna switch it. So you want stitch? You know, and stitch. So this is what you take the button. I just cleaned his G-tube, so normally you take this off and you take something with soap and water and you just scrub it down real good, and then you take your brand new fresh clean one and you hook it and snap. Just like that. Okay, so say thank you for watching my mommy's video. Thanks for listening about my story. Tell them say thank you for listening about my story. Alright, bye.